beautiful day for ACC softball at Palmer Park in Charlottesville. Clemson and Virginia set for games 2 and 3 today. Before games set, and 2 games is just always better than 1. Zealand Shannon and Melanie Mitchell with you through all the action. And there was a lot of action for Clemson last night as they took the W home early, Melanie.
Yeah, Clemson showing off their power here. You've got Valerie Cagle in the circle and also at the plate, taking this pitch and driving it out of the ballpark, center field, straight away, and then pair that up with an Aaliyah Logoleo grand slam in the 5th, her first career home run. Those girls are back-to-back in the lineup here today.
That is an idyllic way to start your career, to say the least. And you talk about the lineup that we're going to see from Clemson today in Game 1 of this doubleheader. And guess who is in the cleanup spot? It's Aaliyah Logoleo.
Yeah, Clemson brings the power and the speed. You'll notice there's mostly righty batters, only that one lefty bat with Cagle, but they can do it all. They can hit for power and they can run.
Matching up against this Clemson lineup is Michaela Hogue, a young pitcher for Virginia that's captured a lot of attention.
Yeah, one of 7 pitchers on this Virginia staff, Michaela Hogue. She throws a heavy ball, so you'll see it stay low in the zone. To be successful, she'll need to keep it low. She mixes in that curveball, a little bit off speed there to fool the hitter.
And what's that name at the bottom with the 12 strikeouts, 2013, Melanie Mitchell?
12 strikeouts is always a great day.
Certainly reminds a lot of people of yourself in a Virginia uniform. This is the official Michaela Hogue scouting report. What do you make of her game?
Yeah, she's really going to need to find her rhythm today, really break off that curveball, spin it, make sure that there's a difference between her fastball on the inside and her curveball on the outside to keep these Clemson hitters guessing.
We are all revved up and ready for action. Mackenzie Clark, Ansley Gilstrap, and Valerie Cagle are due up in the top of the first inning. A top of the first that was friendly to Clemson last time. Able to take an early lead and then wrap it up 9-1. Game 1 of the series. Our first pitch across at 1:02 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. How important is this first inning, Melanie, to Virginia's psyche after that early defeat?
Yeah, it's Game 2 of the series. It's a new opportunity. I mean, Clemson's a really good team, and Hogue's going to have to be very consistent here.
Off the hands, up the middle. It's headed to Arizona Ritchie at second. She flips it to first. Tori Gilbert snatches it for the opening out of the ball game.
Yeah, great pitch by Hogue. That screwball on the inside just got her on the hands for that first out.
Ansley Gilstrap, who's been playing softball for more than half a decade, and what we presume will be her final season now. It's a vaunted shortstop, transfer from USC Upstate. Takes a strike at the knees.
Yeah, another good screwball there by Hogue. Really pounding the zone. This year in NCAA softball, the low part of the zone is going to be a point of emphasis for these umpires. So you'll look for pitchers to be hitting the lowest portion of that zone to get good strikes.
Gilstrap with a .474 on-base percentage. Flashes a bunt, takes the ball low. You see Hogue's emphasis on the lower part of the zone.
Yeah, that's going to be a place where she can induce some ground balls, especially if she can mix that off-speed curve, maybe a little bit of a drop ball in there to get that ball into the ground so that her defense can play behind her.
Coach Harden said she's at her best, Hogue, when she's getting early outs. Fouled away by Gilstrap, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, and also part of being a first-year pitcher is working ahead in the count. And Coach Harden mentioned that she'll get ahead in the count and sometimes she'll leave the ball a little too much on the plate, and that's when she gets hit hard. But if she can make those adjustments to nibble the edges of the zone, she can get ahead a little bit more and get better strikeouts or more outs for her team.
Going for one here on the 1-2. It's rolled over to the left side of the infield. Scooped up Michaela Fox, throws on to first. And there are 2 down. This is the type of start that Hogue is looking for.
Yeah, that heavy ball, you'll see it in the lower portion of the zone. She induces that ground ball. An easy play, third to first.
Warming the gloves up in the infield for Virginia. Just one left for Hogue. The last chance, though, is a dangerous one. It's Valerie Cagle. She takes a pitch low and away for ball 1. The only lefty that Hogue has to face in this game.
Yeah, it's a good spot to face her here, though. You've already got 2 outs, but you still need to be pretty careful. Can't give up anything too big.
1-0 is just a bit high to even it at 1-1. Cagle, a redshirt freshman. She did get experience last season, the COVID redshirt, as it were. 2-0.
Yeah, you can see Hogue being very careful here. Missed with her first 2 pitches and just pulled that one a little bit too much as well.
Stayed up high with just about everything. It's the exact opposite of what we saw in the previous at-bat.
Yeah, first-year pitcher here, you really need to learn how to attack these big-time hitters. It's a great situation early in the game.
The 3-0, she does stick to the zone, and it's fouled back by Cagle. That's not exactly where you expected the pitch to end up. Low and away. It was a hittable pitch, except for the spin.
Yeah, it's a pretty good placement. Let's see what she'll come back with. Maybe something off speed. But she's really going to need to work on mixing those speeds if she's going to be effective against Cagle.
Pitch is strike 2 on the high-end corner. Guts from the young pitcher.
Yeah, it talks to Cagle's experience about a hitter that she's worked to this 3-2 count. She's gaining information for the hitters behind her. She could have easily attacked that 3-1 pitch.
Fouls the next one off, and will stay in a full count, 3-2. 7th pitch of the at-bat will be due up. Cagle has an outrageous record against Virginia. After her 2-for-3 performance, 1-for-3 performance yesterday, she's a raucous 10-for-16 against Virginia. Now she's got a walk, so that stays. That brings up Aaliyah Logaleo, the cleanup hitter for Clemson, who, well, it's a great way to hit your first home run. A grand slam last night in the 5th inning. Big part of the reason Clemson was able to go home early, and that's 4 of the 9 runs scored. She's got a runner on with 2 outs.
She had a pretty good pitch on the outside part of the plate, stayed through it.
Takes a strike from Hogue. Time called. If you're Donna Friedman, what's the thought process here? Settle down the pitcher?
Yeah, at this point in the game, it's Clemson started off their approach at the plate. They're all the way in the back of the box, so they're really trying to see that spin, see that pitch all the way through from Hogue. So if you're Friedman, you're just saying, hey, we've already got 2 outs here. It's a big-time hitter. Make sure we can at least get an out. If you walk her, it's okay, but you really need to stop the bleeding at this point.
Logalea is not a player that we expected to see in this series. The game last night was her first game of the season.
Yeah, this year's a particularly interesting year. You've got a big roster with some holdovers from last year who took that extra redshirt year. Both of these coaches here today are managing big teams, and it's a lot of opportunities for these players.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss, and Hogue starts it off with a strikeout. We'll be right back. Virginia coming to the plate in a scoreless ball game. We've already seen the lineup for Clemson. Now it's Virginia. What stands out to you from what we see here?
Yeah, just a couple lefties in this Virginia lineup, but they're really going to need to get some hits early in the game. Yesterday, against Valerie Cagle, a different pitcher, they were able to have a little bit of a success later in the game, stringing together some hits, getting some walks. They're really going to need to be aggressive, and that's kind of the tone of their season this year, is just be tough and be aggressive. So they really need to carry that from inning 1 all the way through this game today.
They will be matching up against a pitcher. You talked about the unusual numbers on this Clemson team. How about number 87, Millie Thompson, a true freshman who was the Roanoke Timesland Pitcher of the Year. She's a Virginian. A lot of Virginians on these 2 teams. Thompson, the lefties. First pitch is a strike to Katie Goldberg. Then Avila and Tori Gilbert do up this inning. Thompson. 9 in for a ball. It's 1-1.
Yeah, Thompson so far is just trying to nibble around the zone. Missed a little bit high with that pitch, but it's an interesting lefty perspective. This Virginia team has not faced as many lefties. It's not that common in softball, so it'll be an interesting challenge here today.
She's not a pitcher that's expected to go a ton of distance. Clemson's got 5 arms that they can choose from as the pitch misses high. It's 2-1. Her season long and thus career long in a game's just that 4 innings on February 12th. Goldberg's fouled it back, 2-2.
Yeah, so far all of her pitches here today have had a little bit of an up finish to them. So she's going to really need to keep that ball down and away from the Virginia hitters' bats.
Here comes Thompson. Off the hands, bit of an awkward screwing swing that, well, saves her from an out. Still 2-2.
Goldberg's hands have to be ringing after that one. Right off the handle.
She went 0 in the first game of this series. It hit leadoff and obviously doing so again today. Thompson. It's low. The count is full. That's exactly what you want from your leadoff hitter.
Yeah, she's seen 7 pitches so far in this at-bat, getting a lot of information. She's seen high pitches, she's seen low pitches, a little bit of an off-speed there from Thompson, who slowed up her arm just a little bit, and Goldberg was able to hold off.
Payoff. Big swing from Goldberg, but it's caught up in the air, hanging for Cagle in left, and she makes the catch for the opening out. Well, Cagle's in left field, which is something that jumped out off this defensive lineup for you. Here's a look at everybody else: Clark and center, and Johnson and right. Gilstrap is one heck of a shortstop, and how about a 6th-year player at short to really marshal the defense?
Yeah, the second-year Clemson program has a veteran in Gilstrap at shortstop, and it's a really good mix of a lot of new players and a couple big-time transfer 6-year, 5th-year type players that form a really good, solid defense.
JoJo Hyatt doing the catching, also a player that Coach John Rittman has pointed out is one of the burgeoning leaders of this young program, which is in its 2nd season, its first full season after last year was cut short. Senior Avila, one of 2 lefties in the lineup for Virginia. She falls behind quickly 0-2. This is the first appearance in the circle for Millie Thompson since the 21st of February against Georgia Tech. Avila, a contact hitter, the best player offensively for Virginia last night. Able to make it 1-2. Thompson's appearance against Georgia Tech, she went just 2 2/3, gave up an earned run. She has not gone over 51 pitches this season. 1-2. Tipped away. It's always important for a team to have a player like Avila. She's not going to knock the cover off the ball at any point, but she can scrap her way on in the upper part of the lineup.
Yeah, and that's the name of the game. It's putting the ball in play, getting singles where you can, doubles where you can. Getting on base is really important when you have games in softball that are 1, 2, 3, 4 runs in any given game.
The 2-2, Avila's rolled it to the right side to Bigham, and simple underhanded flip on to Keller for out number 2. And Virginia searching for the game's first hit. Clemson did get the game's first base runner with a walk in the top half, but the pitchers are winning so far, Melanie. Yeah,
so far it looks like Millie Thompson's really trying to spin the ball with a curveball from that lefty side, breaking away from Savannah Avila. She takes it to the inside to get that ground ball out, so that backdoor curve, lefty to lefty.
First pitch to Tori Gilbert, a called strike. Experience top of this lineup with Avila, the senior, and now Gilbert, technically a redshirt sophomore. Quickly falls behind 0-2. Thompson has found the strike zone after a long opening at bat.
Yeah, she seems to have settled a little bit. She is working so hard to spin that ball.
an active process of slowing your arm down so you can get more spin on it. Just off the plate. It's a good take from Tori Gilbert.
Yeah, you see again that backdoor curveball from the lefty to the righty. It's going to be on the outside portion of the plate, trying to break it back in to hit that outside corner.
Gilbert went 1 for 3 last night. Takes. There was a ball at the plate. The appeal down to first. And we will still play in the bottom of this first inning. It's close, but no cigar.
Yeah, great pitch by Thompson there. Just brought it back maybe 1 more inch compared to that previous pitch. Almost got Gilbert to bite.
2-2, swing and a miss. The spin got her. Coming in towards the shins. And a 1-2-3 for Millie Thompson. Will be back for the second inning. Scoreless. Well, the best of the ACC Fencing Championship tomorrow from 6 to 8 Eastern, followed by a 2-hour recap of the Indoor Track and Field Championship from Clemson. Plus Monday, it's our 2-hour best of the Men's Swim and Dive Championship from 7 to 9 Eastern. All 3 are on ACCN and the ESPN app. There are so many sports going on right now, it's hard to keep track. You got your fall sports happening in the spring. You have your spring sports happening in the spring. And the winter sports are still going on. And I honestly don't have enough eyes to watch all the games. Back in action. Clemson, Virginia, top of the second. Nothing to speak of in the first inning. 1 base runner. It was a walk with 2 outs to Valerie Cagle of Clemson. Now Grace Matamore, the junior from Ashburn, designated player today, will step in. How have you best kept track of all the sports going on, Melanie?
Well, with limited in-person attendance, it's a bit of an electronic experience, but just trying to support any team you can, East Coast, West Coast, all sports are good sports.
I think I have that bumper sticker. All sports are good sports. 1-1. Hogue continues to work low in the zone. Has found herself competitive and ahead.
Yeah, she's also working that inside portion of the plate, trying to jam up these Clemson hitters.
What have you made of her tempo so far? It's halfway through the lineup first time.
Yeah, so far so good. She's finding her rhythm, using that wristband to check the signal from the dugout. There's
Ball high, 2-2.
New addition to that rule this year where you have to use one source to get that signal to then use the wristband. So it's a little bit of a change of pace to try to speed up the game of softball a little bit. So that wristband is still there. She's still checking for that pitch, and then she fires.
Fouled away, 2-2. And how does that change to just the one source of information affect you in the circle?
Personally, I prefer to get my signal from the catcher who used to get it from the dugout, but it's all just a matter of preference. These girls are used to getting that sort of signal from either the coach or from the catcher and then immediately looking at the wristband to figure out the pitch.
Sixth pitch, the opening at bat of the second. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts going back to last inning for Michaela Hogue.
Yeah, Hogue missed just a little bit with this little off-speed curveball, but she was able to get just enough off-speed to be ahead of the hitter and get that strikeout.
This pace, with the way these two pitchers have started, we could be set for a world record time. Just have the feeling the story of this game is yet to be begun. Morgan Johnson's fouled the first pitch away. Waiting on a moment, somebody to make some sort of play. Will it be the right fielder? The 6'1" right fielder, Morgan Johnson. It's a tall outfield for Clemson.
Yeah, Cagle in left, about 6 feet. It's got a lot of range to cover.
Johnson picked up an injury in the COVID-shortened season last year, only played 4 games, so this year has been her first real go at it, a redshirt freshman. She's fallen behind 1-2.
So far, Hogan is at bat getting ahead. That's what she really needs right now. She's got that 1 out. It might be a time to work on that little changeup she's been trying to develop. It's a really good situation for that. You just don't want to miss over the plate right here.
1-2. In the dirt. It's well blocked by Donna Friedman.
Yeah, possible evidence there. She might have been working on something, just kind of got away from her a little bit, but no harm, no foul, brings you to a 2-2 count.
Gia Keller's on deck. She's the third potential Clemson hitter. Hogue trying to get to her. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. That's 3 straight strikeouts for Michaela Hogue.
See, Hogue takes the drive off the mound, takes that curveball, gets that strikeout, leaves it low and away, and misses the bat. Great pitch.
Two outs, nobody on. The first pitch on the ground to first. It's booted, but kept in front by Tori Gilbert. One pitch, 1 out, 3 outs in the top of the second. Scoreless to the bottom half after this. Joanna Hardin's had a tough job when she came to Virginia, now in her 5th season. The record really doesn't tell the story of the amount of progress she's made at Virginia.
Yeah, talking to Coach Hardin earlier this week, she says she absolutely loves and trusts this team. After all they've been through last year with the COVID-shortened season, getting another chance to play softball this season, they're just absolutely grateful for the opportunity day in and day out. And she's really trying to push the girls to really embrace that challenge and just feel so grateful for every single day on the softball field.
It's been a long process. Ballpark's been a big part of it. This Palmer Park was an idea for so long, but now Coach Hardin talks about the impact that having this ballpark surrounded by national championship teams for soccer, for lacrosse, for baseball, all around Palmer Park really sets the mood. When before the softball team was playing in a different part of town from everybody else, and that really allowed you to hide, is the way that Coach Hardin said it.
Yeah, and she feels that the team is trending up, and a lot of that has to do with the stadium. You can physically see it, that it's all here. It's a great system of support to encourage recruits to come to Virginia. On this parallel side, you've got Clemson with a brand new program, beautiful big stadium right next to their baseball stadium. So a lot of progress in the ACC, putting softball as a big priority.
It's hard to imagine if you've never been to Palmer Park, but there's JPJ. That's where the men's basketball team of Virginia plays. It's right across the street. Another national championship presence that just looms over this ballpark. Thompson's got a 2-1 to Friedman, who's popped one to the left side. This should be playable for Cagle on the line. It is 1 out. And it's not just that. We talked about lacrosse and soccer. But you can see those poles there in front. They've got national championship banners down the front of them for women's lacrosse, men's lacrosse, women's soccer, men's soccer. 3 out of those 4 have those national championships. Plural. It's a level that Coach Hardin wants to try and get her team to. But speaking of getting your team to that level, Clemson in just its 2nd year as a program seems to be well on track for being that level of competitive nationally. Morgan Murphy at the plate. The pitcher from game 1 of this series is even to count 1-1. How is that possible, Melanie, that a team like Clemson can create this program? Coach John Rittman leaves the national team coaching staff to take over, and all of a sudden in 2 years you're getting votes in the national poll.
Yeah, he said that they have this why not us sort of mentality where you bring in some transfers, particularly from Furman University, where he has some familiarity, brings in the former head coach of Furman, the assistant coach from Furman, a couple other key transfers from USC Upstate and Troy, and a lot of just really good first years, and they're just developing so quickly, and he's really proud of how they're just coherent and forming as a team and kind of keeping that why not us mentality as the new kids on the block.
It's an incredible achievement by John Rittman, and one of the more remarkable things is the 0 losing seasons. You flip that coin and you look at Virginia, where we're talking to Coach Hardin. She says, our goal is to have a winning season. We haven't had a winning season in quite some time. He's never had a losing season. Especially
at a school like Stanford in the then Pac-10, now Pac-12. It's the most competitive softball conference. Maybe the SEC is right up there now, but during that time, it was definitely the most difficult conference to be successful in at that time.
Most recent collegiate post was an associate head coach in Kansas before he moved to the U.S. national team for a second stint. He'd been there before, and then Clemson came a-calling, which was an inch low, 2 balls and a strike. Done a great disservice to our umpires today. The home plate ump is Dave Mattern. Alex Leap is at first. Scott Mayer is at third. Perhaps a good thing that we haven't had to talk about them so far. Been a well-called game. She did go around, and it's 2-2. Well, there's Alex Leap making his first decision. Still just one base runner. 2 outs in the bottom of the second.
Yeah, another Virginia hitter getting it to 2-2. Seeing a lot of pitches. Fouling off a pitch there.
It's been 5 up and 5 down for Millie Thompson, but she's still thrown nearly 30 pitches to get there in this second inning. Covington, it's the lowest batting average of her career if that holds at 207. She's been a mid to high 200s batter her whole time at Virginia. Bit of a slump to start her senior campaign. And that slump continues, swing and a miss. And Millie Thompson has the strikeout. 6 up, 6 down for the freshman. We're scoreless to the third inning. Clemson, softball. Those 2 words didn't go together in the same sentence until last year, and the inaugural season was a statement of intent. We hinted at it last half inning. They came out guns blazing.
Yeah, with that brand new stadium, their fans showed up and showed out. Talking to Coach Harden earlier this week, she was saying when Virginia visited Clemson last year, it was a championship-like atmosphere. The stadium was packed. There was a little bit of heckling, but those Clemson fans were just so proud to have that team there in Clemson, South Carolina.
How do you start a softball program? You probably should have started one a while ago if you end up with 1,500 fans. It's top 5 in the country. It's an average attendance. The ACC game's more bumper than that. It's been a pitching performance so far. Clemson and Virginia game 2. Game 1 went to Clemson 9-1 last night. Number 8 hitter JoJo Hyatt and Casey Bigham and Mackenzie Clark due up this inning. 1-0 from Michaela Hogue. It's coming right back to her. Pops it up in the air like she meant to and tosses over to Gilbert at first for the opening outs. Clemson team that, well, 19-8 is pretty good. 3rd in the ACC is pretty good. They hadn't played a road ACC series yet in their history. They swept Georgia Tech, though, and then won the first game against Virginia, obviously, last night. So they're perfect on the road, and they're not the only team that's going through this. Duke, still in its first 4 seasons. What does that mean for the ACC as a whole? You get 2 new teams and 2 new good teams.
Yeah, it really elevates the competitive level of the conference. For a while there, you only had teams like Florida State and North Carolina that were consistently competitive on a national level, but you bring in teams like Duke and you bring in teams like Clemson who have brand new facilities and are really attracting good talent. You can start a program pretty quickly if you get some really good transfers and some really experienced players moving in and meshing with those first years. It's really expanded the level of play in the ACC.
And then you get Virginia picking up some new facilities as well. Where do you see the ACC nationally in 5 years? It's another ball back to Hogue, who's getting busy defensively.
Yeah, I think Virginia is bringing in a couple classes in the next 2 years, according to Coach Harden, that she says are really great players and they're really excited about. And the facility really does draw out those players, and it's really happening all across the ACC. I think it's nationally, there's over the last 10, 20 years, the East Coast is picking up from the West Coast, where they typically dominated softball, but now it's spread all across the country, and you've got the SEC and the ACC gaining in momentum, and it's really exciting to see softball nationwide, especially in the ACC.
How long until you see an ACC team get into that final game in the College World Series?
Well, we've had Florida State knock on the door a few times, but it's really going to take a team that has multiple high-caliber pitchers. You see teams that like Oklahoma, like UCLA, those teams are successful because they have multiple aces. The ACC typically was the type of conference where there was one or two sort of big-time pitchers, and that one person threw all the innings for their school. So we're really going to need to have pitching staffs that are successful and can carry you through a full week of Women's College World Series softball to actually win that title.
Always need that workhorse to carry you home at the end of the day. Kayla Hogues missed wide. It's 1-2, but she continues to dominate the strike zones, throwing 3 balls in this inning. Only threw 4 balls the previous inning, and it's only allowed the 1 base runner and a walk. We have dual-wielding no-hitters in the top of the third. 2-2. The announcer's jinx, alive and well.
Yeah, just working on a pitch there. Keeping it low in the zone. That 1-2 count. Don't want to give anything too sweet over the plate.
Clark grounded out to second, her first time up. Tries to pull one this time. Keep it 2-2. Seen both teams, despite the fact that they can't seem to get on base very much, getting deeper into counts against pitchers, particularly Virginia going against Millie Thompson, even though Cavaliers have not put anybody on base at all. They've seen a decent number of pitches, and so has Clemson. Clark rolls it to the left side, a 5-3. A strong arm from Michaela Fox has closed the book on the top of the third inning. 1, 2, 3. Scoreless to the bottom of the third. Today, we have the ACC Women's Basketball Tournament semifinals on ACC Network and the ESPN app. The first game is underway with Game 2 to start at 2:30 Eastern. The championship game will air tomorrow at noon Eastern on ESPN2. Absolute chaos in the ACC Women's Basketball Tournaments. Syracuse with the buzzer beater last night to put itself into the semifinals. Of course, Louisville and NC State expected to be there at the end of any tournament in March. The ACC just on the rise in a whole bunch of different sports. Millie Thompson facing the 7-8-9 Arizona Ritchie, Kayla Fox, and Bailey Winscott this inning. And starts it like she ended the last inning with a swinging miss. Strike 1. What have you liked from Millie Thompson so far in this ball game? It's 6 up and 6 down for a true freshman.
Yeah, she's being a little bit what I call effectively wild so far, where she's really spinning the ball and kind of fooling these Virginia hitters just a little bit. Nibbling down, hitting up. So they might be some pitches that are missing a little bit, but she is being effective so far, not allowing any runners on base.
Arizona Ritchie hitting 194 this year. In a hole, 0-2. There's a bit of that wild side for Millie Thompson.
Yeah, she's working really hard to snap that ball off, to really get a lot of spin. If she's going to force the ball down, she's going to take a little bit shorter of a step, really drive it down to the ground. On something like a rise ball, she's going to lean back a little bit more and really finish quickly through that pitch.
Despite the hot start to this game for Millie Thompson, keep your eye on that pitch count number below the 2-2 on your scoreboard, because she has not gone past 51 pitches this season. She stopped exactly at that line in 2 of her 3 appearances. The other one, she stopped at 47 pitches. Swing and a miss, and her 3rd strikeout of the ball game. All swinging.
That lefty backdoor curveball to the right-handed hitter. You don't quite know if it's a strike, so you really got to commit and just swing and a miss from Arizona Ritchie.
Tough start to this year for Ritchie at the plate. She hit 175 last year, but did hit 224 as a freshman, Arizona Ritchie, so it's trending the wrong way. Michaela Fox with 1 out. And Millie Thompson starts her with a strike. Michaela Fox was a regular starter in the shortened season last year and is eligibility-wise still a freshman, despite the fact that she is in sophomore classes or second-year classes. Those 20 games, she hit .250 last year. Drove in 5 runs. Behind 0-2 to Millie Thompson. That looked close. But no. Held my breath for a second, but Dave Mattern wasn't convinced.
Good take by Fox.
Virginia looking for its first base runner. Check swing. Did she go? Well, it's a strike. So she's out. I think that's how it works. 2 outs. Nobody on. Millie Thompson is ablaze at Palmer Park.
Yeah, Thompson really leaving these hitters guessing. She keeps that one way off the plate, out of reach from Michaela Fox. So it didn't break all the way back, and it was a really good pitch to get that strikeout.
Puts her tally up to 4. She's trying to strike out the side here in the 3rd inning. Bailey Winscott swinging away at the first pitch is golfed it foul.
One of 2 lefty hitters here for Virginia. Maybe get a little bit better look at what Millie Thompson's throwing and report that back to her leadoff hitter who's on deck.
Mississippi native. Smallest player in the lineup, 5'2". Been a regular player since she entered the program in 2019 at 35 games as a freshman. 20 starts in the outfield last year. True freshman Millie Thompson doesn't care for experience, at least so far. What is she able to do against left-handed hitters as a left-handed pitcher herself?
Well, she's really working that curveball. So she's going to either take it backdoor, or that previous pitch was just a straight-up curveball. So if she's a left-handed pitcher to a left-handed batter, it's going all the way to the outside part of the plate. She's doing a really good job of being fearless and throwing inside and outside. There you see that backdoor curveball in on the hands of Winscott.
Brought the count to 2-2. Given the small sample size of Millie Thompson's career, this is only so notable, but this is her career high in strikeouts, and we're in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, she's gone side to side here. Wouldn't be surprised if she worked up or worked down here to try to get the strikeout. My guess is down.
Hunting the 5th. But Winscott able to swing for contact and stay alive.
I think that one just got held up a little bit. She was trying to drive that one a little bit further down in the zone. Luckily, it was just a foul ball.
The eye of the tiger for Millie Thompson. Trying to close the book for the Tigers on this 3rd inning. But Winscott's making that a little frustrating. She just keeps tipping the ball away. This is a good at-bat from your number 9 hitter.
Yeah, Thompson's working in and out, really spinning that curveball, but Winscott's just fighting it off.
Thompson. This ball's in play, and Millie Thompson can't get there. It's a seeing eye single for Bailey Winscott to give Virginia its first base runner with 2 outs in the bottom of the 3rd. And even though it didn't leave the infield, the game has its first hit.
Another backdoor curveball from Thompson, in on the hands, but really just gets right out of the reach of Thompson. And then by the time it gets past her, then Winscott's already at first base. Really difficult play.
And Virginia do anything with it. Katie Goldberg flew out to left her first time up. Back to the top of the lineup, and she's swinging first pitch. Diving play by Casey Bigham. One more pitch for Millie Thompson to erase the first base runner she's faced, and we are scoreless headed to the 4th. What a fantastic bit of defending from Casey Bigham. We'll be back in a scoreless ball game. Michaela Hogue needed to be at her very best to shut down this potent Clemson offense, and through 3 innings, the ball hasn't left the infield, Melanie.
Hogue's been very successful with that screwball, keeping the ball in the hands of the Clemson hitters, getting some ground outs, helping herself out there with a couple outs last inning, 1-3.
It's also managed to grab 3 strikeouts as well. And guess what? Ball's not left the infield. A flash of the bat from Ainsley Gilstrap. She can't get herself on base. 1 pitch, 1 out. And sometimes when things are going well, they're just going well. Michaela Hogue continuing to cook in the circle.
Yeah, Gilstrap there might just have been a little bit of a surprise, but maybe she was trying to challenge Hogue again after a little bit of a slip last inning, trying to get one of those outs. But just a little bit of change of pace, trying to get runners on board.
Gilstrap now 0 for 2. Clark at the top of the lineup is 0 for 2, and Valerie Cagle steps up in the heart of this batting order. This is the second time through for Hogue. How does that change her approach?
Yeah, especially with a hitter like Cagle up at bat, you really need to make sure that you're making the adjustments to the hitters, because they're going to be making adjustments to you as a pitcher, especially as a young pitcher. You need to make sure you're hitting the edges of the zone, not leaving anything over the plate, and really attacking those corners. It's great that she got that first out already, so she doesn't have to worry about any runners on base for Cagle.
Even Cagle's hitting ground outs. Ball on the ground to Ritchie at second, and there are 2 down after a 2-0 start to the at-bat. So Clemson had a comfortable lead at this point of the ball game last night. Obviously, nobody has a lead in a scoreless ball game today. What a difference that is, Melanie, from one day to the next.
Yeah, it seems to be a pitcher's duel so far. That Friday night contest, Clemson had put up quite a few runs by this point, but in the 4th inning here, still getting some contact, but just not breaking through past the infield.
What does Clemson need to do offensively to try and get after Hogue? We've talked about how great she's been, but if you're in that Clemson dugout, what do the Tigers need?
If I was a Clemson hitter, I'd be looking at the outside half. I wouldn't really worry too much about the inside unless I got to a kind of a 2-strike situation, but just look for something on the outside portion of the plate that you can reach.
So far, they haven't been able to reach last year's Iowa Gatorade Player of the Year one bit. As Michaela Hogue continues to dominate the strike zone. The count is 1-1, though. Logaleo, in just her 2nd game of the season, coming off a grand slam last night, in case you missed it. Picked up a bruise on her ankle and another strike in the count. 1-2.
Yeah, yesterday Logaleo got that outside pitch. It was not a bad pitch, but was able to extend her hands and get through it and put enough power into it to drive it over the fence.
She had shoulder surgery at the beginning of last season. Only missed 6 games because of it and played 21 games at .345 before this season got shut down. Counts leveled out at 2-2.
Yeah, coming off of injury, sometimes you just can't wait to get back out there, and especially with the COVID year and kind of the ups and downs of that. It's a good opportunity after an injury to come back roaring year to year again and again.
On the ground, 2 short, scooped by Goldberg. Throw across, and guess what? It's a 1-2-3 inning in the top of the 4th. Michaela Hogue's on fire, but so's Millie Thompson. We'll see her next. Millie Thompson had 3 strikeouts her last time in the circle against Georgia Tech. She's already eclipsed that for a new career high.
Yeah, Thompson really fooling these Virginia hitters here, whether it's a swing and a miss on a pitch that's a little bit slower than they anticipated, or it's a pitch that's outside that's going to break back onto the plate, that backdoor curveball.
Despite the fact that Virginia's only put 1 runner on base, it has made Millie Thompson work for her outs and her strikeouts. Those 48 pitches, just 3 away from her career high, which of course is a true freshman, is a season high of 51 pitches thrown, facing Savannah Avila.
I'll be interested here today to see if she does go the distance, or if she's kind of on that little limit of second time through the lineup, maybe just getting some more experience, or if she's really trying to go the full game today.
Her high in innings pitched is 4, so obviously if she was able to finish this off, this inning, she would be tied with that. It was her first collegiate appearance against North Florida that she got there, gave up a couple of earned runs in those 4 innings. Not so today, but behind 2-0 to Avila.
It's a good take by Avila there.
We've not seen a count start like this from Millie Thompson either.
Yeah, if she's fallen behind, she's immediately come back and gotten that strike, or if she starts ahead, she's getting a pitch that could get the Virginia hitters to miss or swing or take.
Not only was it the first 3-ball count of the game for Millie Thompson, it's her first walk of the game, and the pitch she throws to get the walk makes this her longest career appearance in terms of pitches thrown. So perhaps that line is a little more significant than it might appear to be.
Yeah, it looks like she might be trying a little bit too hard to be precise with those pitches. She just needs to trust her spin and trust her stride. She might be a little bit too short or too long and not be in rhythm.
Tori Gilbert struck out in 5 pitches swinging just like that. Last time she came up, it's her second bite of the apple against Millie Thompson. And now Tori Gilbert's got a runner on base. Swinging like it. She's behind 0-2, though.
Going into this series, Coach Harden said they really need to be aggressive, and that includes on the base paths. So we'll keep an eye out if Avila is he part of a hit and run here, or maybe just a straight steal with no outs.
This does feel like a very low-scoring game. We're halfway home here, and nobody's scored. We've had base runners you can count on one hand. The count 1-2. Good news for Thompson is she's refound the strike zone. Tori Gilbert was hitting over 300 before entering the series, but slipped below that line. That was the softest pitch I've ever seen. High and in for ball 2.
Yeah, sensing a little bit of frustration here with Millie Thompson. Really trying to throw her pitch a little bit too much, really forcing it. It's just kind of coming out at the wrong point.
Would that be the inexperience as a freshman, or just working through a game? It's a hefty swing, ball deep into center field. It's got some carry from Tori Gilbert, and that ball is out of here. A 2-run home run for Tori Gilbert, and out of absolutely nowhere, Virginia has shocked this game into life with 2 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Yeah, Millie Thompson trying to work back into the zone, leaves it right over the middle for Tori Gilbert to absolutely crush. You see this pitch missed on the outside portion, drives it.
Second home run of the season for Tori Gilbert, and there was very little doubt about it. It's a souvenir. Virginia had 1 base runner in 3 innings against Millie Thompson, then a walk and a bomb. And the Cavaliers, looking for a little revenge for last night, have the lead. Millie Thompson's still out there. How long do you think she might go now?
I think she'll go a few more batters. If she maybe gets another base runner on, I could see Coach Rittman maybe put in another pitcher. But she was really working through, struggling, missing the edges of the zone, and really pulled that curveball a little too much to give up the Gilbert home run.
Down to Friedman behind 0-1. The at-bat had started so promisingly, too. She got ahead 0-2 and then just couldn't seem to put it away. And the pitch before the home run, you said she was just looking a little frustrated. She pulled her pitch a bit inside, and it just didn't seem to spin quite right. It's a heck of a 3 innings from Millie Thompson, but it's all for naught now. The swing from Friedman snatched by Logaleo, showing none of the rust of missing the early part of the season. That is the first out of this home half of the 4th.
Since that home run, it looks like Thompson's pitching a little bit angry now, really upping her tempo. But she just needs to be a little more careful and not let that get into her head. Really needs to reset and spin the ball how she knows.
That looked pretty good. Swing and a miss from Morgan Murphy. Do you think pitching angry could be a good thing or a bad thing for the freshman?
It depends. I mean, if it bumps your tempo up too much to where you're not spinning the pitch and breaking it off correctly, in the case of Millie Thompson, I think it could be a little bit detrimental. But it looks like she's a little bit revved up, and it might actually work out for her here.
Despite being just a freshman, she has a good bit of ACC experience. She's played in the Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech series. Morgan Murphy, the pitcher from last night for Virginia. Darn good offensive player, too, out of the Cagle mold of Clemson, pitching and hitting. Which is something you said you don't know if you could have done. I think you did a little bit in your collegiate career, but why is it so difficult to pitch and hit?
Yeah, so when you're a pitcher, you have to get your bullpen sessions in during regular practice time. And if you're a hitter, you have to get those extra hitting sessions in, where if your schedule doesn't really allow it, it's really difficult to do extra pitching, extra hitting. Maybe you're doing a little extra cardio if you're a pitcher.
Well, those sessions in the batting cage and those bullpen sessions haven't seemed to obstruct Morgan Murphy from her contact hitting. She's driven one back up the middle for a single, and with one out, there's another runner on for Virginia. Both teams have a two-way player, obviously Murphy for Virginia, and then there's the superstar Cagle on Clemson, who's a second-team All-American in the preseason. Expect we might see her either in this game or in Game 2 of this doubleheader today. Always a treat to watch Cagle pitch. Substitution on for Virginia. Cavaliers reaching into the bench to grab a pinch runner for Morgan Murphy, who's certainly done her job. It's Abigail Barber, a junior from Providence Forge, Virginia.
Doesn't seem to be any sense of urgency from Clemson to bring in another pitcher, even though there are some pitchers up in the bullpen. They just look like they're warming up, maybe for Game 2. So it's Millie Thompson's game still.
Gonna say, do you think the doubleheader factors into not going to your bullpen at this stage?
Even though they have plenty of pitchers, it's still a 4-game series where they're going to want to have their pitchers throw as many innings as they can as long as they are being successful.
Now 1-0 to the most experienced player on this Virginia team, Kate Covington, who did not play last night, which is only the third time in her entire Virginia career. She's a senior. Only the third time last night that she did not play. That is remarkable. Rolls one to the left side of the infield. Not an easy play for Gilstrap. She makes the throw to first, and it's not in time. And Virginia is still cooking up something special in the bottom of the fourth. They've already scored 2, and they have 2 on.
Yeah, you'll see this soft ground ball. Runs as hard as she can, and there's this little bobble from Kaya Keller. Gets the safe ball.
That would have been incredibly close if Keller squeezed it first time. Gilstrap did all she could, the uber-experienced shortstop.
Yeah, no chance at second to get the pinch runner that was running.
Making Joanna Harden look like a genius there, putting in Abigail Barber, who's now in scoring position on second. Covington has plenty of speed. That's what got her to first in time. And Arizona Ritchie, who struck out to open the third inning, will step up for a second look at Millie Thompson, and that second look has been fruitful. Virginia 2 for 4 with a home run. Second time through the lineup, and a walk in there as well. Ritchie, a very reliable middle infield option for Virginia, but the bat has struggled at 188 this year. As you saw in the 0-1, she shows bunt, pulls back.
I was wondering if we'd see a bunt here. Runners on first and second, just 1 out. A little bit of an element of surprise. It also messes up the coordination between the third baseman and the shortstop. If you don't time that out right and you don't communicate it effectively, you could leave that base open and an opportunity for the batter to reach base.
Some argument maybe for an error on that hit to the first baseman Keller, but it is scored officially as a single to short by Covington. So first and second, 1 out, a swing and a miss at home, and the count's 1-2 for Arizona Ritchie.
I see Arizona Ritchie choking up on the bat a little bit, all the way in the back of the box. She's tracking that pitch all the way in, fighting off with a 2-strike count.
Thompson, Ritchie pokes it towards second. Everybody has to stay home. It's an easy out for Bigham. Is that a result of the team sharing information, getting a lot of looks at Millie Thompson, who's at 71 pitches now, 20 above her career high previously?
Absolutely. This is the third time through the lineup now almost. You've seen a lot of pitches, so you've seen her outside, you've seen her inside pitches. You know that she is changing speeds. So when you get to 2 strikes, you can't take a big hack. You have to be able to choke up a little bit, reach across the plate, pull your hands in quickly if it's an inside pitch, and wait for that ball to fully travel into the zone because it is spinning a lot.
Through 3 innings, Millie Thompson had given up 1 base runner. All that work except for the strikeouts that you see on the stat line has happened this inning. But with a doubleheader today and another game tomorrow between Clemson and Virginia, Tigers trying to save their arms as much as possible. Clemson's got 5 pitchers, all freshmen. 3 redshirt freshmen from the season ago and 2 more, including Millie Thompson, that joined the team as true freshmen this year. Can you imagine what this pitching staff's going to look like 4 years from now?
It's going to be incredible, and it's a really interesting situation to not have any juniors or seniors to look up to feed information down to those first and second year freshman, sophomore players. But they're all going to learn together, which is almost as important as having that senior leadership, is that they're all going through it together. They all have different roles. They all have different skill sets. And Coach Rittman's really excited about the mix of pitchers that he has.
The pinch hitter for Virginia, Weaver, has stepped to the plate in place of Michaela Fox. We'll see if that change sticks. We get into the next half inning as Fox was playing third, but Joanna Harden seeing an opportunity to try and swipe another run or two. With a runner in scoring position, you got 2 on, 2 out. What a big spot to step in for Weaver. The freshman takes a pitch for a strike at the inner part of the plate. 1-1. To look at Abigail Barber, the pinch runner on second. Plenty of speed on the bases with Covington at first as well. She an outfielder in her own right. To Weaver. Into right field. Will it get down? A lunge and a catch from Morgan Johnson. The rangy 6'1" right fielder is able to keep it 2-0 Virginia. But a big inning and a big home run from Tori Gilbert has the Cavs in front. This Clemson offense is prolific. It's one of the best, if not the best in the ACC. You can see that right there. But Michaela Hogue has completely shut it down, Melanie.
Yeah, freshman Michaela Hogue so far today, second time through the lineup. She's quieted these Clemson bats, and she's pounded the zone inside, mixed in a little bit of an off speed, but she's really going to need to buckle down here as she transitions from the second time through to the third time through the lineup. Still in the heart of the order right here.
The high school All-American from last year coming to Virginia, sign of the building program, a team that hasn't had a winning season in more than half a decade. Well, that's their goal this year. Come out, win more games than you lose. And right now the Cavaliers at 6-6. With the feeling that might come down to the wire, but we talked about all the freshmen pitching for Clemson. Very bright future in the bullpen for Virginia as well. The 1-0 is a ball.
Yeah, missed a little bit with that curveball. It spun up a little. Didn't get the strike call.
Grace Mattamore, Morgan Johnson, Kia Keller due up this inning. Weaver has stayed in at third base for Michaela Fox. Big swing for Mattamore into left field.
Hogue leaves this one over the plate.
This is your job. Go for it, Melanie.
Yeah, so Hogue just leaves this one a little bit over the plate. Then we get that first hit of the day right down the middle. Lucky that it stayed kind of down and into left field.
Psychologically, as a pitcher yourself, when you end up in this situation where you've had a no-hitter for 3-4 innings, you're not giving up a lot of base runners, now you get a leadoff hit. How do you have to readjust?
Yeah, you have to make sure first you're throwing strikes, but also secondly, you're keeping the ball low in the zone if that is your strength, so that you can potentially get a double play ball, so something on the ground. You're really not looking to elevate the ball here. You don't want any flyouts and that opportunity for the long ball.
Carly Shannon and is a pinch runner, or Grace Mattamore, who's a designated player anyways, so it's an easy enough swap with no defensive consideration. Morgan Johnson. It's first pitch off.
Yeah, last at bat, Hogue got Johnson a swing and a miss for that strikeout and low away in the zone. We'll see if she tries to go back to that outside portion again or if she comes in on the hands to try to jam her.
Swing and a miss for Morgan Johnson, who did strike out swinging her first time up. Carly Shannon, who's come on to pinch run, had 9 stolen bases last year, was 9th in the ACC, and led the team. And she lurks ominously next to Hogue. To Johnson, way early to the party, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a stolen base attempt. Doesn't seem like Johnson's in the mood to bunt. Looks like she's just hacking away. She's got 2 strikes here, so she's going to fight.
One, 2 from Hogue, and Johnson stays alive. It's a type of spot where you just really need a strikeout pitch. What do you think that is for Hogue in this one?
I think if she spins that off-speed curve and she can get it to get a little bit of a bite down, I think definitely something off-speed low and away could at least get her to chase. And then a strikeout pitch might be hard on the hands, and it has to be in on the hands. It can't be over the inside half.
Johnson doing a really good job of tracking that movement. It's gotten inside on her a couple of times, but she keeps finding it.
Yeah, it looks like she's shifted a little bit to be a little bit more on the plate, so she can definitely reach that outside pitch. She's making an adjustment here.
Locked in. Top of the 5th. It's in the dirt, 2-2, and you got to be very wary of Shannon at first.
Yeah, I'm surprised she didn't run with that off-speed ball in the dirt. It's always a good opportunity to run and steal a base.
Did sit up kindly for Friedman. When you're down multiple runs, does that deaden your enthusiasm for the stolen base?
It's always a good time to steal a base if you have speed. But Clemson's got such a potent offense that they're not trying to scrap out that 1 or that 2 runs. They're trying to advance any way they can because they know that they've got people who can kind of put it out of the ballpark at any time.
Johnson's one of them, and it's a 2-2 count, but this is the 8th pitch of the at-bat. Johnson, it's in play, first base line, and it skips by Tori Gilbert up the baseline. Shannon headed for third with that speed, and she's in safe. Clemson in business. The tying run is on the bases.
Yeah, Morgan Johnson shaking her hands out a little bit after that one, so she reached across all the way to the outside portion of the plate, gets it off the end of the bat, and it just trails right along the right field line, completely out of reach, and then advances the runner to third. So we've got first and third here with no outs.
The first hit of the series for Morgan Johnson. And Clemson looking to respond immediately after Virginia's 2-run burst in the bottom of the 4th. First meeting in the circle. It's going to involve the whole infield. And that's head coach Joanna Harden that's come out to start the party.
Yeah, they're
what are you telling your young pitcher here?
Yeah, likely just reviewing situation. You've got first and third, got a runner on first that's not as fast as the runner on third, so you're not really looking for that stolen base, but you just want to make sure that you've communicated that. You still have the opportunity for the double play on a ball in the infield, on the ground, and just calming your pitcher down to say, hey, reset, your team's here, I'm here, relax, take a deep breath, and reset.
Johnson is an outfielder. She's a right fielder. Long strides at 6'1". If you are John Rittman, put you in the Clemson dugout, are you going for the steal of second to try and force the throw and draw Shannon home? Are you trying to gadget a run here, or are you just going to play it patient?
I think I'd play it patient, but I'd play it aggressively from the plate. So maybe throw in a hit and run so that you have the runner already running, but making sure that she can make contact. So not just a straight-up steal, but a steal with an aggressive hitter to back that up.
That hitter is going to be Kia Keller. We've really been putting a curse on a few people talking about Michaela Hogue hadn't let a ball leave the infield. Just let the ball leave the infield twice to start this inning. Shows you the type of pitcher she is, just keeps the ball on the ground. And Matamore was able to elevate it.
It's a great pitch from Hogue right there. Basically the same pitch as the first pitch of the at-bat. That one just was a swing and a miss.
Nobody out, runners on the corners. A 2-0 lead for Virginia. It's tenuous, as Kia Keller's found herself ahead. Is there anything really different that Hogue has done so far in this inning?
She looks like she's sped up just a little bit. I don't think it's anything that she's done herself. I think these Clemson hitters have adjusted, and they're just finding mistake pitches and pitches to get.
On the ground, a short potential double play onto first, not in time. Keller's legged it out, so just one out, traded for a run, and that run scored by the pinch runner, Harley Shannon, to make it 2-1.
Yeah, nice opportunity for a ground ball double play. Gets it to the shortstop, just not quite fast enough to get that out at first.
It's a trade that Clemson will likely take every day of the week. And out for a run. And now Keller's on first with one down. Morgan Johnson, the one that was retired, even though her single moved Shannon to third. Catcher JoJo Hyatt, ball in the dirt. It's gotten away from Donna Friedman, and now there's no force out at second because Kia Keller, that surprising speed she exhibited to leg out and avoid a double play, has got her on second. Had Friedman working in the dirt a couple of times. She's always been able to keep the ball in front of her, but that one, Melanie, just a little too much English.
Yeah, looks like we might get a pinch hitter situation.
JoJo Hyatt, not a slouch at the plate, hitting 296. 3 RBI on the season.
Or just a conference with Virginia, conference at the mound. Clemson, just a little bit of a conference with their hitter. Gives opportunities for both sides to talk it out.
What is essentially a timeout here for both of these teams to take a breath. And, well, let's take a breath, too. It's 2-1, Virginia over Clemson, top of the fifth. We had a pitcher's duel for 3.5 innings, and now where are we?
Yeah, Clemson's really started to break it open a little bit. So they started hitting the ball kind of hard, getting runners on, and had some opportune slower hits just kind of get through. But they really have adjusted to Hogue and what she's throwing.
So they have made a change, and it's a pinch runner move. So even though Keller had shown off her speed in a couple of occasions, not going to take any chances. Going to go for the second pinch runner of the inning, freshman Sarah Howell from Oxford, Alabama. It's just the 4th appearance for Sarah Howell in her career. She's never started a game, but she's got speed. Hyatt has stayed to hit for Clemson. It counts 2-0.
That was actually a pretty good pitch there from Hogue. Just missed a little bit low, I guess.
Huge spot in this ball game.
Yeah, it's still a hit and run situation with one out, runner on second. Put some speed out there.
Some heavy thinking in the Clemson dugout. John Rittman trying to take every opportunity, realizes that these chances against Michaela Hogue are not as plentiful as they were last night. Or pitch walk from Michaela Hogue. And now if you're Joanna Harden, what are you thinking about your pitching situation in the top of the 5th?
I'd give her one more batter to kind of see how this shakes out here. You've got a forced situation now, so you've got first, second, and third, but it looks like Coach Harden's coming out. Not sure if she's going to make any sort of substitution. It looks like there will be a pitching change.
All 4 batters reach base in this inning. A single fielder's choice and walk to JoJo Hyatt. That's got Sarah Howell on second, JoJo Hyatt on first, and Michaela Hogue is out of the game. We'll see who's coming in for after this. Virginia leads 2-1, but Clemson's threatening in the top of the 5th at Palmer Park in Charlottesville. It's Mackenzie Wooten who is coming in relief of Michaela Hogue, who gave it one heck of an effort against a brilliant team, but the bespectacled Wooten, it's a reliable arm for Virginia to go to in her second competitive season, but eligibility-wise, still a freshman after starting a couple of games and appearing in 15 in the shortened season last year.
Yeah, Wooten on this Virginia staff, she's one of those pitchers that can throw at any time. We've seen her start some games, we've seen her finish some games, and Coach Harden relies on her as a bridge to get from the starter to the closer, really can put in that work in the middle relief innings.
Farthest she's gone this season was 4 1/3 in her last appearance in the 28th against George Washington. It's only allowed 2 earned runs in her 12 2/3. Now, what type of pitcher we expect to see now that Wooten is in? The types of pitches she's going to throw. Is it a huge change of pace from Hogue?
It's going to be a little bit slower. She's going to be a little bit more pinpoint with her pitches, but not too dramatic, but it is a little bit of a difference.
The first pitch is fouled away.
She's definitely going to try to keep the ball down to induce a ground ball if she can.
Facing the number 9 hitter, Casey Bigham, who made an excellent defensive play earlier in this game. Wooten from the Isle of Wight Academy, Virginia. And surprisingly, a load of Virginia players in this game, but also for Clemson. Driven ball is snow-coned and caught. Throw to second. Double play. Katie Goldberg. One for the highlight reel, and Virginia gets out of a jam. Mackenzie Wooten threw 2 pitches and got 2 outs. Cavaliers 2, Clemson 1 as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Hey, Katie Goldberg, Sports Center, take a look. We'll be back in Charlottesville after this.
And Millie Thompson from Clemson back in the circle for the bottom of the 5th inning. You'll see a little bit wild in these later innings so far. Missed a little bit and then bring that pitch right over the middle. She's going to really need to reset, refocus, calm down a little bit and find that groove, find that zone, hit the edges of the plate instead of trying to just pull too hard and letting the ball get away from her.
It's towing that line between the intensity being a good thing and a bad thing. You noticed it before the home run, I mean, literally the pitch before the home run that we just saw. You mentioned it live where she's just straddling the line in intensity.
Yeah, you can really see her pick up the pace here. A little bit of jumpy, nervous energy. I don't know if that's going to work for her or if that's really what she's trying to do, but it is a little bit of frustration expressed so far, but she's still on a whole being successful today.
Haley Winscott, the number 9 hitter, is the player that broke up the no-hitter with 2 outs in the 3rd. It was Virginia's first base runner with a seeing eye single that just found an empty pocket of clay somewhere in the infield. Quickly behind 0-2. It's like Millie Thompson remembers. Good take by Winscott. 7 batters came to the plate for Virginia in the bottom of the 4th inning. You a bit surprised to see Millie Thompson out here for the 5th?
Yeah, I think so, since she hasn't gone past 4 innings in her other starts, but it's a great opportunity. If Coach Mertman wants her to go a full game, then she'll try to go the full game.
2-2 to Winscott. Her previous career high in pitches, again just a true freshman, was 51. Now it's 78. Has a career high in strikeouts in this game, but we didn't see one last inning. We did see one 3-ball count, which was the only 3-ball count of the ball game until now. It's a 4-pitch walk to Avila.
Yeah, we'll see what she comes with on this full strike approach. Probably some sort of curveball.
It's ball 4, and Winscott fell behind 0-2 and finds a way on for the second time in this game to set up the top of the order with Katie Goldberg.
Yeah, Thompson pulled that pitch up a little bit. Looks like we're going to get a pitching change here. Coach Rittman coming out of the dugout.
Just in essence trying to see what Millie Thompson will be able to offer in this 5th inning. But after going ahead 0-2, she's thrown 4 straight balls and walked herself out of the ball game. It was a good outing. You can see the potential in the true freshman, but she just let it slip.
Yeah, she was missing up in the zone, down in the zone, side to side, was really kind of losing her control a little bit, especially with that highlighted by that 0-2 that turned into a walk.
So Clemson calling on that bullpen. We'll get you the rundown on the new pitcher for the Tigers on the other side of this break, Emma Whitfield. Moved from the game, Emma Whitfield is now in. Welcome back. First pitch thrown from Whitfield. Just a little out of the zone, so she's now headed to her second pitch. They've gotten rolling immediately, and it's back up the middle from Katie Goldberg. And now there's 2 runners on with nobody out. Where has this offense been from both teams the whole ball game? Everybody's woken up.
Yeah, new pitcher in the game for Clemson. Virginia attacking that first pitch, second pitch, really trying to just get runners on base and move them around.
I knew you had time to talk about Emma Whitfield, her hopes and dreams and aspirations, and the fact that she's a redshirt freshman from Toccoa, Georgia, and Stevens County High School.
Yeah, it looks like she throws a little bit harder than Millie Thompson. That might advantage these Virginia hitters who don't have to sit back as long and wait for that spin to fully develop and show the break of the pitches like they were seeing with Millie Thompson.
Whitfield was on the team last year. Eligibility-wise, still a freshman at a 3.3 ERA and 23 1/3 innings pitched. This just her second appearance of the season. Through 1 inning against Virginia Tech. Gave up a hit, no runs, no walks, and a strikeout. Facing Avila, who walked to start a gargantuan 4th last time. Which was close to the knees, but called a ball after a flash of a bunt. Winscott's on second. Goldberg is on first. Something brewing, perhaps, for Virginia?
No out situation, left-handed batter up. Avila does have the tool in her toolbox to be able to maybe slap a little bit, maybe put down a drag bunt. She's probably going to be hitting away, but she does have that experience.
See Logaleo at third, way in as the bunt is foul, 1-1. Certainly trying to cook something up, Avila.
Yeah, when you got runners on first and second, your shortstop's going to be going hard towards third base. If she could kind of slap it over the third baseman, that would be a very ideal situation with runners on first and second.
You have Gilstrap shading over behind Logaleo. The 1-1 from Whitfield. High for a ball. The exception of the runner on second, the line is closed on the starting pitcher, Millie Thompson. Avila did a lot to knock her out of the ball game with that walk. Ended up scoring in the 4th inning. It's a hard-fought walk in all of 4 pitches. Just how you dream it up. 2-1. Make it 2-2.
Ooh, really tight strike there. But it gets in there for the second strike, evens out the count, 2-2. So now we'll see Avila switching to hit away.
And as such, the third baseman, Logaleo, has backed up for the 2-2 pitch. Staying alive. attention has fallen over Palmer Park. A huge double play for Virginia. In the last half inning, it looked for all the world like Clemson would keep rolling in the top half of this inning. Mackenzie Wooten comes in, 2 pitches, gets the double play ball out of the inning, and now a swing from Avila into center field. It's driven right at Mackenzie Clark, who's had a quiet day out there no longer. First out of the inning is loud, but it works.
Yeah, Savannah Avila got a good at bat right here. Saw a lot of pitches, got a good bat contact, but just fly ball right to center field.
Now here's that big bad woman again, Tori Gilbert. A 2-run homer that is all of Virginia's offense in this game. That was last inning. Now facing a right-handed pitcher in Whitfield. Ball high. Seem to say this a lot, but plenty of speed on the bases with Goldberg at first. Winscott, the center fielder, at second, just to the bottom of your picture. Count evens out 1-1. Gilbert did strike out back in the first inning. It's been a little hit or miss, but Bailey Winscott bouncing around. Tori Gilbert doubled her RBI and home run total with that swing.
Too good of a pitch to let go by if you're Tori Gilbert, and she knew it. Refocus, get back in the box. Now she's got to fight with this 1-2 count.
Whitfield, high, and it's 2-2. This is the exact count that Tori Gilbert hit her home run last inning.
Yeah, so far from Thompson to Whitfield, a little bit of a slower pace, pitch to pitch. It's allowing these Virginia hitters to settle in a little bit more. Also being a right-handed pitcher with these right-handed batters, it's a little bit of a more even playing field.
Whitfield, driven by Gilbert through the left side of the infield, and it gets down. Everybody stops. And the ball booted around. There was a bit of a dangerous rounding of third by Bailey Winscott. She almost over-pursued the goal there, but the bases are loaded with 1 out. It's a good swing by Tori Gilbert.
Yeah, Gilbert's going to take this pitch on the outside half and pull it to the left side, and it gets through. Able to advance her teammates. Almost tried to send Winscott home, but she held up. Really aggressive by Coach Joe right there. But just was able to hold her up.
About it. That was a bit dangerous for Winscott. You get that sinking feeling when you see the throw come into third, but would have been very difficult for them to actually get her out. Donna Friedman, the cleanup hitter. Isn't this how you draw it up on the lineup card? The bases are loaded, and then the cleanup hitter comes up to take care of business. Well, Clemson's gone from the aggressor to in danger again. Tigers winners last night, 9-1. Have been held down by the Virginia pitching staff, and now Friedman swinging away on a high pitch that she was hoping would sit a little lower.
Yeah, there's so many things you can do here with a bases loaded, 1 out approach. I don't think we'll see any sort of suicide squeeze from Friedman. Just let her hit away. But if she can get something up into the air, into the outfield, that could be 1 run.
3 batters have faced Whitfield. 2 of them have singles. The third one was the loud out to center from Avila. Friedman. Right down the barrel.
That was a great pitch by Whitfield right there. Staying away, getting ahead in the count.
Friedman lined out to third. Last inning. Just gotten under a couple of pitches this time around. It'll stay 1-2 for her.
Yeah, Friedman just a little bit early on those pitches to take that outside pitch and pull it foul back into the left. She'll really need to see it deep if she wants to drive it to the right side of the field.
Player that has improved tremendously year over year. in this Virginia program, hitting 375 coming into this game, but none of that helped on the pitch from Emma Whitfield. What a huge strikeout pitch for Whitfield.
Yeah, nice screwball here by Whitfield. Gets it to miss the bat of Donna Friedman. Look at that tail all the way in and up. Just a little bit of an up action to miss the bat.
Whitfield saved her best pitch, the biggest moment. And bases loaded, one out, strikes out Donna Friedman, and now we'll see who comes to bat because Morgan Murphy's had this spot in the lineup, was pinch run for by Abigail Barber after getting a single last inning. We go back to Murphy here. It's the designated player spot, so we haven't been forced into a decision, and we will be going back to Morgan Murphy, who's 1 for 2. Sometimes the entire ball game hinges on 1 or 2 at-bats, feeling that we're in that situation because the Clemson offense is awake now.
Yeah,
and
bases loaded, 2 outs. Looks like Whitfield's settling in a little bit. She's really hitting that curveball, hitting her stride with that. Let's see if she comes back with something inside here.
Heels high. Didn't see it a lot in the last at-bat, but there's always the tension, too, when the bases are loaded, that if you throw a ball or 2, you miss 1 pitch, the nerves can accelerate exponentially. Start to get towards a 3-ball count. There's nowhere to put them.
Yeah, you've really got to focus as a pitcher and forget that those runners are out there. You know that they're there, but you really can't focus on that because it's you versus the hitter in that moment.
Murphy wanted the high pitch, but couldn't catch up to it. Has been hot recently. Make that 6 for 12. Batting 500. Last 4 pitch called. Strike 3. And Emma Whitfield has struck out back-to-back hitters with the bases loaded to keep it 2-1. Herculean efforts from both defenses to keep this ball game close. We're back after this. It's been a tale of 2 ball games so far. We have the first 3.5, nearly 4 innings where nothing quite happened at all. The pitchers were brilliant, and every half inning we've had since then has been a load of pitches, load of runners, load of nerves. And at the end of it, Virginia leads 2-1 in the top of the 6th.
Yeah, Mackenzie Wooten came in the game last inning, so this will be her first full inning out, facing the top of the lineup. This will be the 3rd time through the lineup, but since she's a new pitcher, it's a new opportunity to keep them off base and see what she can do.
Both teams in their bullpens now, and both bullpen pitchers have been clutch. Whitfield, the back-to-back strikeouts, the bases loaded for Clemson last half inning, and Wooten, through 2 pitches, got a double play to erase a 2 runners, 1 out situation that Clemson had trying to find the tying run. You get the feeling there are a lot more runs in this ball game.
Yeah, Mackenzie Clark so far today has put the ball in play on the ground, so she has that chance, that opportunity right here. You saw her turn around, try to put a bunt down, maybe just shake things up. She's really trying to get on base, be a spark for the Clemson offense.
Clark, a true freshman, not one of those COVID red shirts. The number 19 prospect in the country, according to extrainningsoftball.com. High school All-American, according to PGF. An elite player from Lakewood Ranch High School in Florida. And she sent a ball in the air to left field that seems to have some real loft. Avila back towards the track. Can't find it. The wind playing games with the left fielder for Virginia. And Clark is hustling all the way to 3rd.
Clark does get under this pitch, but she gets it up in the air for a really long time. So long, in fact, that she's motored all the way around to 3rd base. Avila dropped that ball, missed it maybe in the sun, can't quite tell. But does a really good job by Mackenzie Clark to run hard all the way through. The ball didn't quite have a chance to get out. A little bit of a misplay by Virginia.
That was close to being an inside the park homer. The way that ball went into orbit, Navila could not find it. The tying run at third with nobody out. We've seen both teams execute a great escape. Will we see another? They just seem to be ratcheting up the difficulty. Now it's Ansley Gilstrap, the embattled 6-year shortstop from USC Upstate. It's always worth mentioning, Gilstrap was set to play last season and end her career, but had some headaches, went in for an MRI. They found what's called a Chiari malformation. Obviously, such a strange story, but she had to undergo surgery, missed the year. It's a genetic brain condition that they were able to sort out, fortunately. It's not too life-threatening, but it did knock her out the entire season, and which was even more unfortunate because she'd been so good at USC Upstate. She was a multiple-time All-ASUN conference player. She was a conference tournament team as well and played in some regionals. And she's walked in 4 pitches.
Clemson looks to be rolling here a little bit. Top of their lineup has been providing so far this inning. Got runners on first and third, and your third hitter up here, Valerie Cagle, who is not to be messed with.
The first 2 times that Valerie Cagle has come up, it's been with no runners on and 2 outs, no runners on and 1 out. And now the preseason second-team All-American redshirt freshman is up with 2 runners on and nobody out. Mackenzie Wooten might want to go get those blades she was wearing when she came out of the bullpen initially, because it just hasn't gone nearly as well here to start her first full inning of work.
Gonna get a conference visit from Coach Harden.
Certainly a nervous moment for Mackenzie Wooten. And Coach Harden going to try and talk her down from it. Thursday, we'll have 2 great lacrosse matchups for you on ACC Network and the ESPN app. The number 1 ranked North Carolina women square off against 15th ranked Virginia Tech at 5 Eastern. Then it's number 2 ranked North Carolina, the men, taking on 9th ranked Virginia right here in Charlottesville. All that and more on ACC Network, which has been a fantastic resource to satiate your hunger for sports of all kinds in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Especially on a Saturday like this. There's more sports going on right now than at any point in the past or any point probably in future history, because of COVID forcing a lot of the fall sports to wrap things up here in the spring. It's almost the entire ACC portfolio of sports that's just going on every day. What do you think of that? Cagle showing bunt.
Yeah, it's showing bunt as a distraction to get that runner from first to second. Looks like Virginia wasn't interested in the playing around with that first and third situation. She's definitely looking to mash here.
Swing and a miss from Cagle. It's worth mentioning, you see these hitting stats. Oh, she was the freshman leader in home runs last season with 10. She's also the team's best pitcher.
Is playing left field today. Must have a lot of energy to spare.
The 2-1. 3-1. Cagle's seen at least 2 balls in every at-bat she's had. The amount of respect the Virginia pitching staff and Hogue and now Wooten has shown her is immense. The bases are loaded with nobody out. Back-to-back walks for Mackenzie Wooten. Thrown just 1 strike in those 2 walks. At what point do you think about maybe making a change here?
Well, we've got no outs, bases loaded, so it's a big opportunity for her to see if she can get some outs here, maybe get a ground ball, can maybe go for home to 1. Coach Harden looks like she's putting her trust in her right here. She's their middle innings girl, and she's trying to keep them in this game.
Make a change at first base. A third pinch runner of the game for Clemson, Ariel Oda. The 5'4" COVID freshman. Guess who? Logaleo. Fly ball to left field. Avila's been able to catch it. Throw home is not in time. Everybody else stays put, but the game is tied. Aaliyah Logaleo comes up with the bases loaded for the second straight ball game. She hit a home run last night, and now she drives in a run with a solid swing.
And that's the way you do it in a one-run game. You've got your fast leadoff hitter, Mackenzie Clark, on third. Just get that ball into the outfield, and she easily gets home before the throw.
The leadoff triple for Mackenzie Clark is finally rewarded. She had to wait through 2 walks to get home. And Logaleo, 5 RBI in this series, and there's still 2 games and change to play. Well, now we're tied at 2, and Clemson's got a real chance to try and take a lead here.
Now we've still got 1 out and forced situation with runners on first and second. See if Virginia can capitalize.
Pitch in the dirt is skipped away just enough from Donna Friedman.
Yeah, those are the kind of mistakes you can't be making if you're a Virginia team that wants to beat Clemson here today. You've got to be consistent with your pitches. Sometimes it might be a little bit of miscommunication, but you've got to make sure that you're not letting those balls get away.
Grace Mattimore singled and scored in the 5th. Back into the lineup after being pinch run for by Carly Shannon. Nice pick by Friedman to keep the ball in front of her, but the count is 3-0. Mackenzie Wooten struggling to find the strike zone after a promising start to her relief appearance. Mackenzie Wooten had only allowed 2 earned runs all season in 12 2/3 coming into this game. She's already allowed 1 with the threat of more in this inning. Counts 3-1. Those earned runs were in 2 different games, so she has not allowed multiple runs in any appearance this year. In what is her 8th. Mattimore just the 1 RBI to her name this year. 3-1, swings hard, hit foul. Wooten has pulled herself back from the brink, really, Melody, with that 3-0 count staring her in the face, potential loaded bases again, and now counts back full.
Yeah, great job getting back to that 3-2 count. She's really going to need to pull something out here if it's a off-speed pitch or just something that's going to get Mattimore off balance, because it seems like she's ready to attack all of her pitches.
Certainly playing with confidence. The Army transfer has golfed one down the line that is less than a foot foul.
Yeah, that was a little bit of an off-speed down low, so not a bad pitch from Wooten. Mattimore was just all over it.
Mattimore was 14th in the country last year with 10 doubles to her name. She's also very good in the patience game. She led the team in walks with 22 last year. But she's swinging away, and this time it does stay fair in front of Avila. 1 run scores in Gilstrap. Second run's coming. A hard slide from Oda, and the pinch runner pays off. It's 4-2 Clemson. Back-to-back hits and back-to-back innings for Grace Mattimore.
Yeah, we see Mattimore ready for this low pitch. Finally gets one that's fair after a couple foul balls. Gets those 2 RBIs. Just a little too slow from Friedman on the tag.
Never see a clearer example of a pinch runner paying off than Ariel Oda. Squeezing every inch of speed she could get out of that 5'4" frame. And Virginia is going to make a change in the circle as Mackenzie Wooten has given up 3 runs here in the top of the 6th inning at Clemson. After being held scoreless for 4 innings, has awoken and grabbed a 4-2 lead. A real turn of events, but you had to feel that it was coming for Clemson.
Yeah, their bats have been quiet the first time or two through the lineup, but they really started to get a little bit more aggressive, making good contact on the ball, putting the ball into the outfield. Had a couple breaks from the Virginia defense with misplaying that ball in left field, but for the most part, it's been them being aggressive or being patient in the couple of walks that they had as well.
We talked about how good she'd been. Mackenzie Wooten up into this point. Definitely her worst outing of the year, and it's not over because Grace Matamore is still Wooten's standing at second. What we haven't gotten to yet is the new presence in the circle for a Virginia team that has a lot of options. And Madison Harris, a freshman from Forest, Virginia, is the one called upon next. She was the number 91 overall recruit in the class of 2020. The district pitcher of the year, 2-time all-region and all-district selection.
Yeah, she's definitely going to bring more heat than Hogue or Wooten, but her ball doesn't quite move as much, so she's going to really need to pinpoint where she puts the ball in the zone. But she really does bring the heat. Coach Harden's trying to get her into a closer role as a first year, and she's had a few successful attempts at that and a few not as successful attempts, so it's a good opportunity. It's a good Clemson team.
Starts off against Morgan Johnson. Runner immediately in scoring position. Those are her numbers in her inaugural collegiate season. She's had 3 outings where she gave up no runs and 3 outings where she gave up multiple runs. And so it's been hit or miss, as you said. With Madison Harris.
Yeah, she's also going to need to keep the ball low in the zone. Try not to be too enticed to work on that rise ball or get that ball too high in the zone that could be hit.
Swing and a miss from Johnson. Was it fouled? No. And so the runner advances to third.
Yeah, a bit of an unfortunate break. That swing probably got into the eyes of Friedman. Ball got past her.
A free pass to the third base bag, and now any wild pitch or one of those again will cost a run for Virginia. Earn one for Clemson. Harris in the 1-2. Johnson thought about it, but pulls up wisely. Clemson with a 3-run inning here in the top of the 6th to take the lead. Have a chance to win the series today if they can win both games in this doubleheader. Looked like that might have caught a finger for Johnson. She has made it to a 2-2 count in all 3 of her at-bats. Morgan Johnson. She struck out in the 2nd and in the 5th had a single on the 8th pitch of a 2-2 count.
Not a good day for the hands of Morgan Johnson. She took that one off the handle of the bat. Her single last time up off the end. Hands were ringing on that one. Might have got a piece of her hand, but the hand is a part of the bat. So if you swing through, it's a strike.
Certainly doesn't feel like one. For Johnson, here's Harris facing her first batter, and the count fills up. Virginia can ill afford concede more runs. Johnson swings and misses. And Harris reaches back in her bag and finds a strikeout for the 2nd out of the inning.
Madison Harris comes full count here. Just blows it right past Johnson. It's a good pitch. She'll need to be a little bit better with her locating going forward, but she buckled down and got the strikeout right there.
Exactly what she was brought out of the bullpen to do. Mattamore still at third for Kia Keller, swinging away, but was late. Strike number one. It's unorthodox. Dugouts are weird places.
Yeah, especially with the netting all the way around. Little cutouts. But it's all for safety.
Oh, yes. Stay behind the railing. Mackenzie Clark, all smiles. She had a triple last time she came up. Scored a run. Ball on the ground to short. It's cut off by Abby Weaver, and there's just not much of a play she can make. The run has scored, and Clemson leads 5-2.
Yeah, Virginia probably would have had a little bit better of a chance if Katie Goldberg fields that ball cleanly, but just cut off. Not able to make the play for Virginia. Run scores for Clemson.
Just a situation where Virginia's made a change at that position. Fox got the start, and then Weaver came in as a pinch hitter and has stayed to play third. And that was her first involvement since coming in defensively. I appreciate the enthusiasm, but we'll see. Scored as a single to third. It's a very difficult play to try and make, and Keller's certainly had to work to get on base. She's been racing to first. First time to leg out a double play where she got on and then was eventually out at second later in the inning, and this time she's able to leg it out again. Down 1-1 to JoJo Hyatt. The eighth batter of this sixth inning as Clemson has added 4 runs to go from behind to comfortably in front in the top of the sixth. The run was charged to Wooten.
Madison Harris finding a little bit more of a groove here. Finds herself with a 1-2 count. Finally ahead against a Clemson hitter.
Swing and a miss. And Madison Harris with 2 strikeouts and 3 batters faced, but it wasn't enough. Clemson adds a 5th run, 4 total in the inning. Virginia pitching staff hasn't been able to hold down this explosive Clemson offense. We'll have the best of the ACC Fencing Championship tomorrow from 6 to 8 Eastern, followed by a 2-hour recap of the Indoor Track and Field Championship from Clemson. Plus Monday, it's our 2-hour best of the Men's Swim and Dive Championships from 7 to 9 Eastern. All 3 are on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Championships galore. You a big fencing fan, Melanie?
All I know is Duke has a fencing program, so there must be other ACC programs that field a fencing team to have that sort of competition.
You're the softball expert. That's why we have you.
Wide variety of sports in the ACC. Great to see it.
First pitch on the ground to second, and Bigham tosses over to first. A 1 pitch and a 1 out for Whitfield, who takes the bump for her first full inning of work, and it's started rather swimmingly. All I know about fencing is there's foil and there's saber. There's 2 kinds.
Epee?
There's 3 kinds.
Multiple kinds. Well, we're happy to learn more about fencing.
I'll be watching. 6 to 8 Eastern. I've got it in my calendar. 1 out here in the 6th inning, and Clemson with 5 runs in the last 2 innings has jumped on this game a bit. How huge is the bottom of the 5th now when we look back on it? Whitfield there, strikeout on Friedman, strikeout on Morgan Murphy with the bases loaded.
Yeah, you've got 2 strikeouts to end that inning with the bases loaded. That last one coming as a looking strikeout.
Ball flared towards guess who? Bigham. All she has to do is squeeze it in a very quick 1-2 start at the bottom of the 6th. Virginia scored no runs after loading the bases with 1 out. At the time, it had a 2-1 lead. Clemson responds in the top of the 6th, the next frame, with 4 runs and the entire game just turning in that moment.
Yeah, it seems like Whitfield's also settling in addition to those strikeouts, getting quick outs on the first or second pitch of the at-bat. These Virginia hitters look a little bit more tentative. They're making contact, but they're not really being aggressive in that first and second pitch. They're just kind of just swinging at it instead of really having intention towards it.
Second at bat for Abby Weaver, who came in as a pinch hitter earlier in the game, and it looks like this might stay playable. It will, for a nice basket catch by Kia Keller. 1, 2, 3 inning for Whitfield, and Virginia is in trouble. Clemson looking good, up 5-2. We'll be back for the last inning of regulation. I said earlier it was a tale of two games, and this graphic just shows it better than any other. Michaela Hogue held down Clemson for 4 innings, but this is showing just how hard that is to do.
Yeah, Hogue didn't give up any hits through those first few innings, but these last 2 innings, Clemson's both taken advantage of Virginia errors, and they've also just been a bit more aggressive, hitting the ball, seeing a lot of pitches, and really running around the bases.
Casey Bigham involved in a couple of outs last inning. Will try and kickstart a third scoring inning in a row for Clemson. Harris notched a couple of those strikeouts last inning. Gave up a single in between them that scored the 5th Clemson run. This is her first potential full inning of work. Despite her defensive accomplishments in this game, Bigham is 0 for 2 in that second out. It was a double play that at the time felt very important. Rolls one right side. Ritchie. There's the first out of the inning. Thursday, we'll have 2 great lacrosse matchups for you on ACC Network and the ESPN app. The number 1 ranked North Carolina women square off against 15th ranked Virginia Tech at 5 Eastern. And it's the number 2 ranked North Carolina men taking on 9th ranked Virginia right here, about a couple hundred feet away, actually, in Charlottesville. Kenzie Clark at the dish for Clemson. Bit of a flare away to start her at bat with 1 out in the top of the 7th. Last chance for insurance for this Clemson offense. And what have you seen from the Tigers? This your first time you're able to watch them in person this year.
It's a little bit of fits and starts today, but that typically powerful offense has shown its head in the last couple innings.
And as it compares to the rest of the ACC, obviously Virginia program that's trying to build, but Clemson, a team that's got a chance to win the league right now. How would you rate those chances?
They're pretty good. I mean, there's teams like Duke and Virginia Tech who have big-time pitching that are ready to take them on head-to-head, but it's very exciting that there's going to be a few teams there that have a chance to win this ACC championship come May.
An ACC championship that I think everybody's very excited is actually able to happen this year. Harris, a look at the wristband, floats one off the corner, 2-2.
Yeah, it's the first changeup of the day we've seen from Madison Harris, who's been pretty good here so far in this 7th inning. She knows that she's only got to get these top 3 outs. Since it's Clemson's last time to hit, you'll see that approach there with the foot off the back. Little mound visit from Coach Harden.
What's the thought process here with 1 out in the top of the 7th? Just game planning with your freshman, a teaching moment?
Yeah, there also might be a little bit of miscommunication on the pitch call. I can't quite tell with this wristband system if she missed a pitch or if they're just trying to get back on the same page. Because the call is coming from the dugout that the pitcher, Madison Harris, is reading, and then she's reading her wristband to then execute the pitch. So just want to make sure each pitcher has their own little card that has their pitches on it, so they want to make sure they're all synced up and on the same page.
The change in the rule perhaps causing some extra problems in the logistics of getting a pitch call. Two very young pitching staffs matching up for this series. And in a year where you're just playing a ton of games over the course of a weekend, having that good pitching staff, a deep pitching staff where you're going to have to use all of it. You have 4 games in 3 days, so you got to go. Most of the pitchers that you can possibly put in the circle are probably going to play, even though it's an ACC series. How does that change your approach?
Yeah, it's a lot of valuable opportunities for all of these pitchers. And talking to Coach Harden earlier in the week, she said it's going to be advantageous to the hitters. With you having 4 games, you're going to see multiple pitchers for sure. There's not going to be any team here today or this weekend that's going to throw the same pitcher every single inning. So you're going to see at least 2-3 pitchers, maybe even 2 to 3 pitchers in the same game, which is difficult to plan for from a hitting perspective. But if you can see those pitchers over and over again, you can pick up their pitches and be a little bit more successful at bat to at bat.
Out now full to Mackenzie Clark, who's been battling with 1 out in the 7th inning. It's a fair point, though, because Clemson can't just roll up and toss out Valerie Cagle every time. And Virginia's not just going to send out Michaela Hogue every time. Mackenzie Clark might just get on base every time, though. She's walked after a triple last inning. And with 1 out, there is a base runner for Clemson. How many pitchers would you say would be an ideal rotation for a season like this? The number of starting pitchers that could throw a complete game, not just those middle relievers.
Yeah, having about 4 pitchers, I'd say, is a pretty good number, especially considering the expanded rosters, because it is a post-COVID season from last year where you do have some pitchers carrying over. But you always want to have at least 3 to 4 girls that can throw.
The steal attempt, throw down was sharp from Friedman, but Mackenzie Clark just too speedy, and Clemson's still hunting for those runs in the top of the 5th. The insurance is now in scoring position.
Yeah, and continuing on with the pitching perspective, you'll see a lot more staffs now having girls designated for closer roles or for middle relief roles, more of a baseball style approach. Now that we've got these expanded series with 4 games, you've got pod play with multiple teams, just kind of an all hands on deck approach. Whereas you used to have 1 or 2 big time pitchers who would throw most of your innings, it's much more varied nowadays. You've got your starters, your middle relief, and a little bit of some closers here and there.
Has that been just the COVID situation and scheduling, or has that been just a development in the game over time?
I think it's been a development over time. You'll see the teams that compete for consistently and win national championships, they have at least 2 big-time pitchers, or they'll have a third one that complements the other 2 very well. You can't really win a national championship nowadays with just 1 pitcher. You really need a mix, whether it's lefty-righty, fast versus slow, just some sort of at least duo that can get you there and really carry the team.
Harris off the plate for the first ball of this count on the 4th pitch. Could be a case of the first coaches that are able to properly adapt to the new way the game is played with middle relief, with closing pitchers like Harris in the circle right now. Really getting advantage into that next era of collegiate softball, an era that now involves Duke and Clemson and a rising level across the ACC. Gilstrap's walk was last inning. Swinging on this one, flared towards Arizona Ritchie at second. And it comes to rest in the bottom of the glove for the 2nd out.
Good pitch by Harris in on the hands for that little pop-up 2nd out.
She's allowed 2 base runners, but there's been a lot to like from Madison Harris coming out of the pen.
Yeah, she definitely throws hard. She's trying to work on her changeup a little bit. You can see her struggling a little bit, but she is trying to work on it, and Coach Harden really wants to give her some opportunities to be a little bit more consistent and learn to throw strikes.
Harris is all these players are when you're at this level of competition, a highly touted player. We mentioned 91st overall recruit in the class. But she does have something that not a lot of people can claim as part of the squad at the Pan American Games. Struck out 22 batters in 11 innings to help the U.S. win the gold in that 2019 Pan American contest. That's just one of those memories that you get to have forever. I mean, you're in high school, and then all of a sudden you're on the U.S. U17 team in the Pan American softball tournament.
Yeah, it's a great experience. Playing international, playing at that high level, it's completely incomparable.
Swing and a miss and a quick 0-2. Certainly a sign of a bright future. Valerie Cagle is at the dish, someone that really is chocked full of so much talent, it's hard to keep track, but she's behind 0-2 to Harris. Harris goes right after Cagle and strikes her out in 3 pitches. And that brings the top of the 7th to a close. Virginia needs 3 to keep it alive, or Clemson's going to pick up a couple of wins in this series. Virginia's last chance at this ball game. Out hit a really good Clemson offense, but it hasn't been enough. Clemson's monster 6th inning popped out 4 runs on just 3 hits thanks to a couple of Wooten walks. It's got the Tigers well out in front. Winscott, Goldberg, Avila is all that Virginia has left. Be going up against Emma Whitfield. Good news for the Cavaliers is that Winscott has gotten on every time in this game with a single and a walk. Her 3rd appearance. A first against Whitfield, the only batter in the lineup that's yet to face Clemson's relief pitcher. The 6th inning was one of the fastest in living memory. 4 pitches. And Emma Whitfield closed the book on Virginia in the bottom of the 6th. A real asserting performance.
Yeah, Emma Whitfield really settling into a groove here, getting strikes when she needs them. She knows that she's ahead. She's got a few runs to play with, but it doesn't seem like she wants to have any sort of runners get on.
Winscott swinging away, balls in the air to left, bit uncomfortable for Cagle, but she does find it in time, and that's the first out of the 7th. It's the witching hour for the Cavaliers. Six straight retired by Whitfield. Do it all, Cagle in left. You were surprised when you saw her pop up in left field in the lineup, but how much more could she do it? Just getting started in her career, Valerie Cagle.
Yeah, I don't see many pitchers that are willing and able to just hop right out into left field.
I don't know if she would even consider herself a pitcher through and through.
True utility.
Promising start for Katie Goldberg. Ahead 2 balls, no strikes, but Whitfield has only run into 2 2-ball counts since she entered the game. Perfectly capable of getting back into the strike zone. And she does, albeit slowly.
Yeah, nice little changeup in the mix there. Ahead 2-0. Goldberg had that hitter's count, so Whitfield's just trying to make sure that she doesn't sit on something that's too pretty.
Goldberg singled off Whitfield's first pitch. So when she came out of the bullpen, this made Goldberg 1 for 3. His counts even 2-2. Since then, only one other base runner has reached against Whitfield. Talk about matching your batting average. 1 for 3, hitting .333 on the season. Symmetry is beautiful. Delivery. Goldberg chasing just a little bit. And the variety of the pitches that Whitfield's been able to throw location-wise has been very impressive.
Yeah, she's working at her own pace. She doesn't work as quickly as some of the other pitchers out here today, but she's just keeping calm, cool, and collected and just spinning the ball mostly to the outside part of the plate, mixing it down a little bit, up a little bit. You can see she takes that deep breath in between pitches. She's kind of in her rhythm right now.
That being said, this is the first 3-ball count she's faced. Goldberg trying to keep the hope alive for Virginia. Clemson looking to stay unbeaten on the road in ACC play. Goldberg's second foul ball on 2 strikes. The remarkable stat, the Clemson softball program has never lost a road conference game. Didn't play any road series last year before the season got canned. And this year with the sweep at Georgia Tech, it was a near-run thing, 5-2, 5-3, 5-4 were the 3 scores of those games in order. The 9-1 last night here in Charlottesville, and a fly ball from Goldberg. Into left field, it's got some carry. Katie Goldberg's left the yard! With 1 out in the 7th, Virginia has life. A bolt from Katie Goldberg, who really likes facing him at Whitfield.
Yeah, second successful at bat against Whitfield today. Gets that ball over the plate. We'll see right here. Tries to work it outside, but it just runs right back in. Katie Goldberg takes advantage. Gets the score a little bit closer, 5-3.
Textbook swing from Katie Goldberg. That's her first home run of the season. You wouldn't know it. The way the shortstop just swung the bat, it looked like easy power from Goldberg on that swing. They've made a pitching change. Try and see this game out. Now the nerves perhaps getting there at 5-3. And they've gone to who we expected to see starting the second game. This is not a welcome sight for Virginia, but oh boy, Clemson's they're bringing out the big gun. It's Valerie Cagle.
Yeah, it looks like Coach Rittman really wants to shut this down, bringing in Cagle with 1 out in the 7th. Only needs 2 outs right here. She looks poised to get them.
She was the starting pitcher of record, and threw a complete game, albeit a shortened one last night, in 5 innings, 5 hits, just 1 earned run allowed. She is an elite player and someone that Coach John Rittman says, look, she's our ace, and she knows it.
Yeah, she knows how to pound the zone, knows how to work low to get people swinging and missing. She's just a true workhorse in the circle.
Perhaps this will serve as her bullpen session for maybe a start in Game 2 of this doubleheader. We will see. Clemson does have a couple of other options to go to, but the third pitcher in this game, both teams have used 3 pitchers in this game. Normally, when that's the case, the score is a lot higher than 5-3.
Yeah, we didn't see much in the first few innings, but these last few innings have provided a lot of excitement and a lot of turnover from pitcher to pitcher for both teams.
There is perhaps a chance, because Virginia has 2 home runs in this game. Tori Gilbert, who hit the other one that you didn't just see from Katie Goldberg, is due up after Savannah Avila, who's at the dish now. So this is the part of the order where Virginia's been able to make hay. Obviously, that wasn't against Cagle. On the ground is short. Scooped up by Gilstrup. And that's an easy second out for Cagle in the circle. It's worth mentioning, caught the opening out of the inning when she was playing left field, and now comes into the circle to try and record the final 2.
Yeah, that's a tough transition from playing in the field to in the circle. You get those 5 or so warm-up pitches, and you need to be ready to go. And she looks like she's ready for that.
It's a confident play from Gilstrap, who they rely so much on in the shortstop position. Cheek has stepped out to left field, by the way, for those with a curious mind. Unlikely to be involved as Virginia's down to its last out, down a couple of runs. Tori Gilbert takes a strike, 1-1. So Cagle in the circle now. Delivers a ball. A jack of all trades. This was the first out of the inning. A ball in the air to your now pitcher.
Makes it look so easy.
Speaking of easy, what a stroke from Gilbert. This is going to get all the way to the track and center. What a cutoff by Mackenzie Clark to keep that a single. My goodness. That is a play that doesn't show up on the box score, but is tremendous to limit this to a single.
Yeah, Gilbert hits this one really hard, but that is a great stop. Sometimes you can be a little too aggressive and let that roll up on you, and you kind of bumble it a little bit, but she just absolutely nailed that.
Gilbert, 3 for 4 in this game with a 2-run homer, a single in the 5th, and now in the 7th. The tying run is at the plate for Friedman, the cleanup hitter, but a swing and a miss.
Yeah, Cagle pulled the string right off the bat there to Friedman.
Confidence builder for Gilbert. Now she's at first. Potential matchup in game 2 of this doubleheader. Friedman, average-wise, is due. She's 0 for 3 and struck out with the bases loaded last time she came up.
Has a couple home runs on the season, so she does have that power, but it's going to be tough against Cagle.
The Virginia team that just doesn't hit a lot of home runs. That 2 has her tied for the team lead with Covington and Gilbert, who's at first. And, oh, by the way, Katie Goldberg. There are 4 players with 2 home runs. Nobody else has any this year. Something that just changes the way you play, Melanie, when you aren't a team that hits a lot of home runs, today notwithstanding. The 1-1. And Goldberg and her home run are in danger of being wasted here in the 7th because Friedman's down to her last strike. What's Cagle looking to throw?
1-2. She might go outside with a hard curveball, but looks like a rise ball.
In the air, and it does get down. It's a weird play. Friedman is out. And this might get challenged here. We might have a look at this or something. That was an incredibly close play at first, but an awkward move for the Clemson infield that looks like it will stand, and Clemson has won this ball game 5-3, Melanie. What a heads-up play from Lagaleo in just her 2nd game of the season.
Yeah,
she's safe.
Really tough play. That spin is incredible, and she picks it up with her glove, just fires it right over to first. So close on that play.
So you don't have the option to go to a replay or a challenge in this ACC game, so even though that she was safe there on the replay, this game is over, and that's the beauty of the human element to a sport like softball. Clemson 5, Virginia 3, but guess what? You're in luck. We've got another ball game coming up shortly between these 2 teams. That does it, though, for Game 1. For Melanie Mitchell, I'm Zealand Shannon saying so long for Palmer Park. For now, the next game will be kicking off in about 30-45 minutes. Expect the first pitch from Charlottesville, Virginia. Clemson has won it 5-3 and leads the series 2-0. To watch this entire game on replay as well as other games on ACC Network, download the ESPN app. Have a good afternoon. We'll see you for Game 2 in a moment in Charlottesville, Virginia.